Hello, everyone. Another Friday, another anime adventuring party podcast. We're here, Finn, Keiki, Tiket, and Uncle Hawk, about to discuss the anime that made us research and learn something new. So, before we start with the topic, how are you all?
Uh,
Dead silence.
well fed.
Well,
Fed.
All of the moods were in those two words. Just you need to put the commas and the dots where you want to.
No, well fed.
Well,
That's exactly what I meant.
well-fed Fred.
Indeed.
yeah. So again, unfortunately, Anacron is missing. He still hasn't found the way out of the labyrinth of anime. So until he comes back, we will go into a little bit maybe different discussions than we usually do.
Yeah.
So,
Good thing he has the power of anime and Jesus on his side.
Ah,
yeah. And that Jesus is gonna wait 200 years alone.
Not Kirito.
he's
yeah.
a different kind of Jesus.
Yeah. So, does anyone want to start in particular? Which is probably gonna be either Keiki or myself.
Yeah, I'll take my turn when I feel like it because I'll interject in your stuff.
I will
Okay.
interject into everyone's stuff since I have no opinions of my own.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you,
Okay,
do-
you want me to start first then?
Sure, if you want to.
Alright. Let's start with NHK New York Soul. Or welcome to the NHK.
and welcome to all of us.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's 2020. Most of us are unwillingly or willingly like the protagonist of this show. 22-year-old Hikikomori, or NEET, named Sato Tatsuhiro. But
There's a bit of a difference between those two terms.
well, we are mostly unwillingly like him now. And
Yeah.
also,
boy.
yeah, a huge difference. He was not just a hikikomori. He also believes in a conspiracy.
Oh
So, yeah.
my god.
So he's basically Reddit.
Good one.
So yeah, he believes in a conspiracy that an organization exists with the sole purpose to make sure that he stays shut in, which, in my opinion, makes his situation even worse.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you then defy the organization by going outside once in a while?
Well, that's the thing. He's paranoid,
Yeah.
and not in the sense of behaviorally, but he has a psychological disorder, which makes him paranoid.
Yeah. Well, but luckily he meets Misaki, who makes a deal with him to get him out of his sorry state, and he takes the deal. But uh, I will stop with the plot there because this time topic is what we researched. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll just say that this anime for me was very comedic and depressing at the same time.
Just like real
And
life.
Hey,
yeah. So if you decide to watch it, definitely start it when you're not feeling blue. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah, it's another one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's comedy. It's just dark. Now back to the topic. Hikikomoris interested me a lot because at the time when I watched the anime, I was a very extroverted person compared to what I am now. And the concept of being shutting in your room for so long was baffling to me. It was probably the same. I mean, hmm, I was the same age as the main character, and I was a polar opposite of him at the time when I watched the anime. So, what is a hikikomori? It's an acute social withdrawal syndrome, and it's predominantly concentrated in Asian countries. So they're basically modern hermits. And of course, because Asian countries are very conservative, their existence is very frowned upon in society because, yeah, they sit at home and in some extreme cases they isolate themselves in their rooms for months or years at a time. So there are many factors, but mostly it's because of high social expectations in Asian countries. So young adults may feel under pressure by modern Japanese society or unable to fulfill their expected social roles, or they experience some kind of social or academic failure, which leads them to shut themselves off completely.
It's
There are also, yeah,
an interesting thing that it usually hits very individualistic people,
yeah,
and since the society in Japan, Korea, and China, and most of the East Asian societies are very uh, mm, group group oriented. So you
yeah.
have to be a part of the of society, unless be work as an individual and things.
Have to live in a society, if you will.
You no,
It's a
you live.
competitive society
Yeah.
from the beginning, from
Yeah,
starting
yeah, and
school
if
up to the end.
if you fail, well, you failed, and fuck you.
Well, not just that. There are also cases where it's mentioned that they had like soft parenting. So not just the strict educational system that I mean it puts a lot of stress on them. While schools that are 6 days per week, or when they reduced it to 5 days, parents sent their kids privately to do the sixth day, because you can't fall behind. So yeah, it's a lot of stress on young people in order to get a job in a very tough job market in Asian countries.
Hmm.
Or it could be by bullying by classmates in school and so on. I mean, and
What do you mean you don't want to join a club?
so all these things I mentioned appear very often in anime in general, from being an outcast in your classroom to having parents that pamper you all the time. So yeah, it was a very interesting concept for me to see, because I was like, oh my god, they sit in their rooms all day, all night for months or years. So how do they eat?
Sounds good to me.
So
And
yeah.
here I'm having a flashback to Keiki watching Kenshin.
Okay, that was not months.
It
That
was
was
Yeah, it
There
years.
was
that was
years.
it
that was
was
done in.
4 days, I think.
God.
Ay, ay, ay.
But yeah, I mean, in the end, I think it's easier for them, even, well, not that it's a plus, because you have to force them to get out and start to integrate themselves back into the society. But now, when you can work an online job from home, there's a way for them to have the income without living on parents' backs, because most of them just take money from parents or relatives. Yeah, definitely interesting topic. And yeah, this is the one that I chose to go first with.
Okay. Interesting one.
Neat.
We can also say that most of the hikomori have severe social anxiety.
Yeah,
Because
it's a syndrome, acute
mm,
social withdrawal syndrome. So yeah, definitely not easy to integrate back.
and sometimes some people just don't need to reintegrate.
Oh
Eh,
my.
Yeah, what
eh,
has society done for me, man?
lately.
Lately.
What have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me? Well, I provided you food. What have you done for me lately?
Lately. Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah.
so I'm going with the next one.
Alrighty.
The work of Hiro Murakawa, the person who created Full Metal Alchemist. This is her second project, I think. Silver Spoon. So, Silver Spoon is basically an anime about a guy going to an agricultural school and learning the stuff that happens there and how you get the most organic food and stuff like that. And it influenced me in a way to get into botany, which is weird enough. My father has been growing up peppers and other stuff uh, for years right now, and I was always felt that was kind of a process that I didn't understand. But about 5 years ago, I think, I watched Silver Spoon, and I started to have a new appreciation for botany, and just generally some other stuff that are connected to it, like let's say, how do you evaluate meat from good meat from bad meat, what plants you can use in your cooking, and it also influenced me to experiment a little bit. And now 5 years later, after watching Silver Spoon, I am making hybrid peppers because some of them flower at the same time, and I just pollinated them because they are growing up in a close environment. And I also started to learn a lot about plants that are like rosemary. For what is rosemary good? It's good for your circulation, digestion. You can season food beautiful with it. Sage is also an amazing plant for using it as mouthwash and spit it out because it can poison you if you ingest it. Besides that, you can learn mentha or mint. How is it used in cooking? And it doesn't upset your stomach if you are combining it with some spicy food. And I mean all of those nice stuff that you can make. Like let's say, what does the combination of ginger and honey do for you? It lowers your blood pressure.
It
How can
also
onions
makes you poop yourself.
or that if you have a bad stomach? Yeah.
Mainly, yes.
I mean,
No, not if you bad stomach. Ginger is diuretic.
yeah. And also, besides that, how is onion very good against infections and stuff like that? So it kind of forced. Okay, not gonna say forced. It made me look up on some uh, things about how some certain plants can be handled in cooking. What are their healing properties and stuff like that? Because they are even today used in medicine. Like if you take some plants and you are stung, let's say, by a mosquito and stuff like that, it can help that rash heal fairly quickly. So yeah, Silver Spoon, a very good thing to get you into botany and stuff like that. It was just kind of like a little honorary. Okay, not an honorary mention. The thing that got me to also respect the cycle of life more, because it also talks about it a little bit in the anime, and how you should appreciate
Excellent.
life just because, every life is unique.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the picture now, and the tall dude next to the horse,
Yeah.
uh, and I'm like, greed.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the protagonist with the glasses, although he's a guy, it's Shashka.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some certain similarities because, it's Arakawa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that horse has an amazing personality too.
Yeah, I see already.
He doesn't talk, but damn, he's stylish in his anthropomorphization.
Yeah. By the way, Kiki, if you haven't seen this, top tier. This
Yeah.
top tier
No, I
stuff.
haven't actually. So yeah.
It's a very good show. This is one of those shows that you can binge. It's really easy to watch, and you
Right,
will.
because we're not going deeper into
Yeah,
recommendations, right?
you're just. I was just gonna say that you're gonna appreciate it. That's all. So that was for me for my first pick. Back to you.
To me.
To you.
2D.
Oh no. Just kidding. Okay, let's go then with Yamishibai.
Yeah, just give me a second.
I mean, how long did you think that I'll go without mentioning horror?
Oh, I'll get there. Trust
Oh,
me.
you took your time. But I mean, you already talked about Welcome to NHK.
Yeah,
Finally, someone
touche,
else
touche.
who hasn't seen this.
So yeah, about Yamishibai, yeah, the animation in this anime is,
Weird.
to put it lightly, different.
Weird, like I subpar maybe.
Well, actually, there's a reason. So it's made with still images of a person, or as it's called in animation, cells on the background. So you won't see characters' lips moving when they talk, or arms or legs moving while they walk. They're more like hovering or floating on the background. And it was not because of the budget. It was actually an artistic choice made by the creators to make it look similar to Kamishibai. And Kamishibai is a traditional storytelling technique inspired by the usage of paper figures and scrolls. So it's a form of Japanese street theater, and it was popular during the Depression in the 1930s. Its popularity, of course, declined at the end of the Allied occupation and the introduction of television. So, yeah, TV killed the street theater,
Oh
and
no.
the exact origins of Kamishibai during the 20th century is unknown. It sort of just appeared on the streets. Some suggest that it has connection to Japan's etoki from 12th century, where you had the hand scrolls or even whole rooms with the pictures painted on the walls or series of hanging scrolls on those walls, to which Buddhist monks would point at and tell you a story that depicts. But in this case, a story was told by Kamishibaya, and that's a narrator that would travel and set up this mini stage on the street. It's like a box with slideshows, just old. And he would swap
Would you say
sets.
he has a PowerPoint?
Yeah, the OG PowerPoint.
Damn you.
So yeah, on that mini stage, as you see in the pictures, he would swap sets of illustrated boards and paper figures. And the intro of the anime is actually showing us masked Kamishibaya, who is calling kids to come and listen to his story. So there are some other animes done in the same style, but in my opinion, this one was the only one that was really able to pull it off. I mean, characters and backgrounds are well done, and they help in depicting some disturbing moments. So, yeah, did I mention that it's a horror? So, yeah, it's like the stories told at the campfires during nights, and it's an anthology of Japanese rumors and urban legends, full of spirits, ghosts, curses, and so on. No gore, just good old suspense, goosebumps, and terror. So if,
Spoopy.
so if you're not interested only in the Kamishibai part, but also in Japanese scary urban legends, and it's packed into the like 4 to 5 minute standalone episodes, yeah, this one is then definitely worth your time, and you can watch the whole thing in like whole season in like 2 hours.
Yeah, with I'd say with the caveat that some episodes are more scary than the
Ah,
others.
yeah,
There's like a hit or miss kind of, you know.
yeah, some are really cheesy, but it's 4 to 5 minutes, so
Yeah, yeah.
nothing lost there actually.
Except for the 5 minutes.
So, would you consider Lolina to be done in the same the Italian cartoon in same style,
I thought you said
similar style actually, but
Lolina. I was like, what the hell is
no,
that?
Lolina, the one on
Osvaldo
the
Cavandoli.
Yeah,
yeah.
the Italian,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, well, I don't think so, because here you had already static backgrounds and
Mm-hmm.
paper dolls, let's say. Sometimes only backgrounds and narration, while Osvaldo was constantly drawing the line.
Yeah, okay. And what about the show we had on our television, Good Night Children,
Yeah,
Mm.
with
it
the
could
with
it could be
the
considered like something like that.
hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's just that these dolls were, well, yeah, actually also on those little sticks. So yeah, but
Yeah.
mostly it was made out of paper, because it was a rough time, and it was all made to be as portable as possible, so he can
And
carry it on.
easily replaceable.
Yeah. So yeah, most of times it was just like different backgrounds, and 80% you had to rely on the narration of the story and your imagination.
On your good presentation.
Exactly.
You okay?
So yeah, that's my
Interesting.
second pick.
This is the third time this show has been recommended on this podcast. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh, nice.
Finn's got your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while we are on the horror train, this is the thing that Keiki recommended, I believe last week, if I'm not mistaken. Time is convoluted to me right
Yes.
now. Aoi Bungaku. So
oh,
this kind of reignited my old love for different type of hmm, stylistic storytelling. Let's call it like that. Because in this anime you have horror stories, and the first minute of the show is literally the director talking about them, and it puts a lot of retrospective into that. So I started researching some old fables, some old stories, and they always had some silver lining and a moral to them, despite how dark they were. And I also started investigating a little bit of the motifs of some stories. Like, let's say in India, you had a story about an elephant and six blind men who tried to find out what an elephant looks like. Because the elephant is so big, all of them touched a different part of it, and they afterwards talk about what the elephant was. However, each one of them had a totally different perception because they could only touch one point of the elephant. And in some versions, the story ends by they getting into a fight. The other version talks about how they actually started to talk about it and realized that their perception, although was correct, was not in the entirety of the situation. So, I mean, if you could go around and uh, you can literally uh, put that and the Rashomon effect from the movie Rashomon into retrospective and see how you can warp the storytelling to to hmm, what would be the right word here, to match someone's personality or style. So everyone in a media is going to see some of the things that they can relate to. And Bungaku just, as I said, reignited that spark on how can you tell a story but make it to of course, to different people, make 6 different perceptions of that story, just because they wouldn't probably have the full scope of it. And then it always kind of brings me back to the allegory of the cave by Plato, and the famous story about someone being chained in a cavern, and the only perception that he saw on the wall was the shadow of his being. When you translate that and start to work a story around that, I think you really have a very good potential to go as a writer and develop your story and to play around with it in a lot of ways.
Well, it's very important to have perspective of when you're writing in perspective, you have to understand the character's perspective, the one that you're writing. But in general, it's a good idea to develop that skill for real life too.
Yes.
Indeed, especially nowadays.
Oh, definitely.
Look. Today, at least nobody is gonna take a sword and cut you up.
True.
Well,
I will keep silent about that.
Well, we're not living in Brazil, so we should be
Oh
fine.
no, man, too dark. And yeah, just like for everyone who wants to write a story, just check up what the Rashomon effect is or the allegory of the cave, and who knows, maybe you get an idea out of it. I certainly got a couple of ideas.
Here is another maybe more famous example. Pulp Fiction.
Or that. Tarantino is a wonderful film director.
Yeah, he's really good at doing that type of storytelling.
Because where others would make an ellipse, no, I'm gonna make a dialogue scene out of it, and you're gonna love it.
And feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course.
Alrighty.
Okay, that's it for me for my second pick.
Okay.
All right, back to me. Let's go with Hozuki no Reitetsu. So, we are all in hell. And hell is a bureaucracy. Yay!
All right. So far so true.
So yeah, this is true. All the
so many levels.
Yes.
Do we need to put the famous "give this is fine"?
Yeah, just put a little horn in the middle of the forehead, and that's Hozuki. Okay, so yeah, we are following the main character Hozuki, and he's the chief deputy to Lord Enma, the king of hell. But don't think that all I brought today is gloom, because this one is actually comedy at its finest. So yeah, the hell in which Hozuki resides is divided into 8 fiery hells and 8 frozen hells. So while those 8 are further subdivided into like 200 and something sections in this anime, but some speculate that there are over like 64,000 of levels.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but there has to be a circle of hell for each programming language, right?
I was thinking it has to be to a degree. Now that's a math joke for you who don't know what that is.
What's math joke?
Yeah. So this anime's main purpose is to make fun of the way we imagine hell, while serving us some bits and pieces of historical, traditional Japanese folk tales. And after watching it, I was very interested both in folklore and in Shinto and Buddhist versions of hell. So, Shinto version or Yomi no Kuni, is a place that has more in common with the ancient Greek or Roman ideas of the afterlife than Christian or Buddhist hells. And
So the hell of the dead.
yeah, yeah, it's ruled over by Izanami, one of the great creator gods of Japanese mythology. Was betrayed by Izanagi, and the Buddhist version of hell is a lot more grim. Surprise,
And a lot more
surprise.
fun.
With fire and demons and so on. So
And
it's
poking and prodding.
kind of ironic for a peaceful religion that believes in reincarnation, right?
Look,
But
look, it makes sense because if you're so bad that you can't even be reincarnated, you go to hell.
yeah, it's all
Like,
about measuring how you led your life. If you were good, you will be reincarnated into a better life until you finally reach nirvana. But if you were bad, you end up here.
like keeping on a keep him on a mild flame for 100 years. See if he comes to
Well,
his senses.
actually, after every couple of years, you will be trialed by Lord Enma to see if your sentence can be reduced. And in one episode of the anime, we actually learn that one of the ways to reduce the sentence is with food and drink offerings from your family. And we also learned that Hozuki uses those offerings for feasts since there are too many of them.
Wait, hold on a moment. So what you're trying to say is the divine bureaucracy can be bribed.
Of course.
Who would have guessed?
Also,
So
when your
that's where all the
sentence is
offerings go.
and when your sentence is reduced, you get sent into another life, but Lord Enma first cuts off your tongue.
Ew.
So you
It
so
grows,
you cannot
grows
speak of
back.
your
Yeah,
experiences.
it grows back, but
Yeah.
yeah. Now, as of characters from the folklore, for example, in the first episode, we see Momotaro, the Peach Boy, and he ends up in hell. Don't ask how and why, just watch. So Momotaro, well, the lore goes that he was born from a giant peach, and that peach was found floating down the river by an old woman who was unable to bear a child. And the woman and her husband found him when they tried to eat the peach. And he basically stood up and told them right there, "Hey, God bestowed you with me as your son, and now that's it. Take care of me." So yeah, they had a peach baby. And later, when he grew up, he befriended a talking dog, a monkey, and a pheasant, and they all went on a quest to defeat a band of demons in Onigashima, or Demon Island, and they returned victorious. But I mean, you hear about all of that in the first episode, and his animal friends even become characters in the show. But he's just one of many folktale protagonists that appear in the anime. My favorite ones were the Zashikiwarashi twins. Now, the lore behind that is very interesting for me. So, they are yokai, or let's say spirits, and they reside in storage rooms in houses. So, if you work hard in your life, they will stay there and they will bring you good fortune. But if you start slacking, they will pack their things and go find another home, and all that awaits you when they leave is complete misfortune. You will go poor and ill and everything. But if they stay, there's also a twist because they're huge pranksters.
They're
And
kind of dicks, man.
yeah, basically, yeah, there they are, and they'll make your life a bit complicated. Like they will open doors, make sounds, they'll turn over your futon, and so on. So, and that their behavior fits perfectly into this anime,
So
and
there's something like Domovoy.
Yeah, from
yeah,
this.
Except that the Domovoys are not pranksters, as far as I.
If I recall well, if you are keeping your home tidy, they won't do that. But if you start slacking, they will start to cause serious shit. They like the
Yeah.
place to be clean, and if it's not clean, they'll make living hell out of your life.
Yeah, but they're also not pranksters, but they're also spooking you during the night
Yeah.
and making sounds and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly,
Uh,
just like Zashiki Warashi. Also, it
The,
said that they can be only seen by kids, but in some instances, it was said that, for example, if a family had a lot of kids and they lined it up and start counting to see if everyone's there, they always end up with one more.
Surprise!
And they're not sure what happened, because
yeah,
they're.
that's an interesting thing. I'll just make a minor digression.
Yeah.
It's connected to the movie I'll be talking about, but the standalone complex series.
Hmm.
Well, this this entity is basically a standalone complex because it came to be in the Far East, and in Europe we had the Domovoy, and there was some Roman thing and Egyptian thing. I mean, the Egyptians had cats, which are
Yeah.
basically, you know, fine and dandy and cool, but then they start tossing stuff around.
Yeah.
Cats.
I mean, every culture had very similar beings, just just in shades of here and there, in the way
Yes,
they
yes,
differed, and literally in only in another name.
yes. But the interesting thing is that back then we didn't have the internet.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
was doubtful if there was actually any communication with traveling or trade routes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
Exactly.
It's interesting to see how the origins of those legends came to be.
Especially with Japan, because it was a very closed place for a very long time.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
not a lot of stories went in and out from there.
That's why
Yeah.
Uh,
they're so weird.
Yeah.
I find it lovely. I find it perfect.
I mean, it can be weird and lovely, you know?
Yes, those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that
Alrighty.
was another pick from me.
Okay.
Cat, go!
Yeah, this is one for
Ticket, we
me.
choose you.
This is one that helped me right now in at the academy because I'm studying game design and we have goddamn programming. And and before I watched this pilot episode or the little episode of Venture, which is a slice of life anime about programming, I don't think that I appreciated programming enough. And once I watched this, I was just like, okay, let's try to give programming another go. I started to enjoy it. I started to see it as a what do you call it? Puzzle solving way to work on my little brain cells so they could work better and stuff like that. Venture, I certainly hope this is going to continue, and I'm eagerly awaiting the next chapter or the anime series, anime video that's going to show. Uh, but when you start talking about programming, and I believe Finn will correct me if I'm wrong, you will find a way to translate that into life. You will find a way to realize some things that you like. If you don't think about it, they will just pass by you, right? However, when you go into programming and you find if this happens, then this might happen, else this will happen, which is a little programming joke. But it will just help you work around your problems a little bit better because, in all honesty, to me, programming is logic solving. How do you make this work? What is the logical approach to a problem? A problem, and how do you fix that problem? Or when you get a scrambled code, you make what you can of it and try to fix it. You try to assess the situation and you try to, shed some light to it and hopefully fix it. So,
Lose your mind.
or
Okay,
lose your
so
mind and bang your head on the table.
so
Yeah, that can
I
also
would
happen.
I would like to say it ain't that deep, fam.
Don't lie to me, you with the rubber duckling.
No, I mean programming has concepts that are made to be generally the goal of any programming language in the recent years has been to be more readable, to approach the natural language as much as possible while still maintaining some semblance of being optimized for use, where you have something like Python, which is closer, I'd say, to actual language than most mainstream languages such as C Sharp, C++, or Java, or what have you. But that is the point of it is to come as close to it as possible. So I would say that life is driving programming in that way. So naturally, there would be some parallels to draw. So yeah.
Well said.
I mean, like the code flow controls, like if are made to be readable. They're made to be so that as soon as you see them, you understand what's going on in that piece of the code. The goal is to be as well understood as quickly as possible. So
Well, that was coming from a programmer, and this was coming from an amateur like me.
Yeah, look. I used to learn some programming back in my day. So the first language I learned was B,
To be or not
and
to
then
be.
no B basic,
No.
and basic is it can work on those simple language terms, but if you wanted to produce something that that actually works, you'd have to learn another language, which is A, which is assembler.
Hmm.
And no thanks.
well, yeah,
So,
and I would like to say to what TitCat is saying is true for high level programming languages, and you have some low level programming languages such as assembly or some stuff like that, which are not easily readable by humans. So you have even even more than that. You could go, and things start to become less and less understandable by some late men who may be reading the code.
And then when you get to the logic languages, you're not a human anymore. You're a mathematician.
Yeah,
Praise the
basically.
Omniscience.
I mean, you are a mathematician who is trying to make a machine. You're a mathematician manipulating memory in essence
Yeah.
to to do to make to make it do stuff that you want it to do.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Keki.
All right, next one. Let's go with Barakamon.
What?
Barakamon.
Hmm.
It's a slice of life. So
Yes.
something that's not seen often in my case. So this lovely anime is about Handa Seishu, a calligrapher from a more urban based background, and he has some major anger management issues. So he clocks an elder art director who bashed his work on Calligraphy Expo, and he gets exiled to a rural area, an island of Goto. And on that island, he meets a group of kids and starts teaching them to do calligraphy. I mean, that's obviously not all they do. All 13 episodes of this anime are a masterpiece. Uh, I mean, it's a great story. Art is beautiful. Real children were doing voice acting, and the soundtrack was composed by Kenji Kawai.
Oh.
Okay.
I was about to comment on that. A lot of the anime you talked about has had its music composed by Kenji
You,
Kawai.
you
Yes.
see the pattern, yes.
Yes.
Yes, if Kenji Kawai does the music, it's probably very good.
Yeah.
It can be either
Something like
Sugoi or Kawaii, and in this instance, it is Kawaii.
or Kenji Kawai.
Dekai.
Well,
Sugoi.
I think he also composed for Fate Stay Night,
Yep.
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So
Yep.
there's the one that I still didn't watch, but that's just because there's a lot. But I'll get to it.
Wait for the movie to be out, and then you can watch the entire show.
Well, exactly. I want to binge it, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, back to the topic. Yeah, calligraphy is of course a topic that got me interested because of the this anime. I mean, they have expos and competitions for writing letters, you know, but it's not simple as that, of course. So Japanese calligraphy is called Sodor, which translates to the way of writing. So Sodor has eight basic brush strokes in kanji, and each stroke is practiced and mastered before being put to use. And each stroke even has its own name. So yeah, it goes and goes into more and more details. But there are three main styles of writing: kaisho, gyosho, and sosho, and two older styles that are tensho and reisho. and not it's not unique only in writing, but also it varies on patterns, colors, and even thickness of the paper. Then there are multiple ways to hold your brush and so on. So it takes really, really long to master it, sometimes decades, and it's actually valued as much as paintings and other art forms of Japanese art. So yeah, something that I was just like, oh, they're doing writing. Yeah, it's really a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah. Calligraphy has also been used in multiple cultures as part of martial training, because it enhances your hand-eye coordination and your general control of your movement.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and when you watch it, it's all fluid when they start writing, so it's all about that fluidity. So yeah, it definitely goes hand in hand.
Or
Yeah,
hand to hand.
haha. So
If
yeah, the tradition was brought to Japan in by China in the 6th century. It was calligraphy was created by the Prime Minister of China, Li Si, during the Qin dynasty. And well, as for him, we can at least thank him for inventing a unified writing system, because let's say other of his inventions weren't that nice,
oh,
like the five panes method. So anyways, he decided that all the horizontal strokes should be written first, and characters would be drawn from bottom to top and from the left to right. If I might add, it's a nightmare for left-handed people. Like me.
Yep. I can see that.
So yeah, even if you hold the brush upright and you don't smudge anything, I'm used to draw my lines from right to left, and in some times it can be a completely different symbol based on how thick the line is at the beginning and at the end. So it's really tricky for left-handed people.
Hmm.
And since we mentioned our dear Lee C, of course, it would be fair to mention Ono no Michikaze. He was a Japanese government official, poet, and an artist, and he's considered to be founder of the Japanese calligraphy because they adapted it for their own language. So he's the one who actually created the first truly Japanese calligraphic forms. But it's not all about the pretty brush strokes on paper. I mean, calligraphy, it's an art form. It is a philosophical process. It is meditative. It is skill, definitely. Yeah, and it is Zen. So yeah, it was definitely something interesting to research and to see how it evolved during time and how much it changed and how much they cost. Dear Lord, like some pieces are really, really, really priceless. So yeah,
would would
it's
this would this type of artistry be something that would be closely resembled as body, mind, and soul transferred onto a piece of sheet paper or anything like that? Because all that you
oh yeah,
said, it's very symbolic, it's very
yeah.
deep.
There is a lot of philosophy in it. I mean, in the whole anime, we even look at our protagonist like, battling with his anger management and trying to find his own peace and himself. Because he was criticized that his work misses that soul that you mentioned.
Okay.
So
And I can also point you to a master calligrapher, Michael Rhodes.
hmm?
He's not actually a master calligrapher. He's a figure painter. So he used to
Oh.
work for Games Workshop, but now he's hit out on his own, and his content is very calming, and it features a lot of uh, those base principles of uh, uh, writing, painting, doing art, and one of his one of his hmm, things that he says very often is thin your paints and put on two thin coats.
Hmm.
So every time when you're doing something, you have to go back to basics. If it's not working properly, go back to basics. Simple, effective. Simple, simple.
That's very nice. For some reason, I got remembered of Bob Ross now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty much in that category of
So yeah, calligraphy was my next topic. And ticket
Yep. So
or
back to
anyone
me.
else?
This is also another anime that influenced my story writing and made me a little bit explore that stuff. So, Isekai Shokudo is essentially a show, a novel, or manga about a restaurant that has doors to different worlds. And all the customers are pretty much unique. All of them have a favorite dish. And it made me think about the principle on how you can make a place and its denizens tell a story, except going on, let's say, on a world scale adventure. So every story that is said in Isekai Shokudo or a restaurant to another world is told by either the people who sit and eat at the place or by the restaurant owner. And it influenced me in a way that I started writing my own visual novel that has the same premise. You have a place and its denizens that weave stories, and occasionally someone who comes from the outside worlds, and they have a little bit of an interaction. I'm not going to spoil too much about it, and it's called Garden of Remembrance, so stay tuned for that. But it's also a very nice example of how you can weave a story and find a completely different way to tell it. You don't need, as I said, you don't need to go on an adventure. You can just sit at a tavern, four adventurers, drinking a beer, and practically speaking about what their adventures were that led them to this exact moment at this table, drinking beer with the three other adventurers that are sitting with them or playing poker or anything like that.
or
So,
tea,
what'd you say?
or tea,
Or
beer
tea.
or tea.
Yes, like that. So that's practically about it about Isekai Shokudo. Besides that, there's gonna be amazing food that are recipes that you can make in real life, so you can also look that up. And I think you also have all the recipes in the show, or the main ingredients are mentioned. So it's also a very good show to watch if you're new at cooking. Or like let's say Silver Spoon, you will start to learn about food and you will know what works finest and you will work on your cuisine and how to bear fruition with it because you're just gonna start improving and making good food. And in Isekai Shokudo you also learn how to experiment with food because in a certain episode the protagonist, sorry, not the restaurant owner, has to make a vegan dish, a vegetarian dish, and he can only work with the stuff that he has at his restaurant at the moment. So it's also like a nice way to show how you can adapt to a certain situation. And yeah, just exploring about food and exploring about different ways of storytelling. Just that.
One question:
Yes.
did you eat before watching every episode?
I ate while I watched.
Ah,
I did a big brain move.
that's even
A
better.
man of
Culture. Yes.
culture. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I watched the first episode and I was just like, I know what I'm getting into. Let me prepare something really goddamn good.
Yeah, because I'm unable to watch those type of shows if I don't eat while watching or before. I think while watching is actually the best way because if you eat before, you're going to be hungry again.
Yeah.
Optimize. See, this is what we were talking about when we were talking about programming, solving logical issues.
Yes.
Find the best way. The way.
The way.
The way is to eat.
This is the way. So yeah, I just remembered something that after watching Golden Kamuy, I briefly looked up the Ainu people.
Well, there you go.
Mhm.
So there you go.
You
I-
learn some.
I did a thing. So yeah.
You lied to us.
I
got
don't
no.
do this. It usually reverse. What's up now?
Oh no. No, I mean, I did see it specifically because I was looking for anime set in Hokkaido.
Ah,
So-
okay.
So you activated your own trap card.
Yeah.
Haha.
You uno you uno reverse your uno reverse.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh
I
no.
guess so.
Well, as I said, I mean, it's okay even if it's a reverse search, as we can say, as long as it made you learn, or
Yes.
maybe you try to compare if it's actually like it's supposed to be, because animes sometimes can warp the
Oh, yeah.
narrative to fit better into the world they built. So yeah.
Yeah, but Golden Kamuy was surprisingly historically accurate from what I could see, and educational, all
Shiny.
while being both fun and I'd say interesting and it and also disturbing, but not in like a psychological way, just like whoa.
Yeah, let's just show that. Golden Kamu.
So,
Bear.
so yeah,
Contraire.
all of the characters you see, all of them are interesting as hell. Like there is no boring character in this
Yes.
And you
show.
see the bear being punched.
Yeah, it also has a bear being punched to no effect.
Did you start it, Uncle Hawk?
No, I have not.
It's waiting
So
for
you
Die.
you.
lied.
Time is a commodity,
Yes.
and I do not have much of it.
Ah.
But I said I will start it. That is for sure, for sure. Anywho's, yeah, that's Golden Kamuy. Do we have anything else from you two?
Yes. We have one more, I believe.
Yes.
Shiny.
And I'm not going to even try to pronounce this. You dug your own hole. Go ahead.
Bakumatsuki
won.
Kansetsu Irohahi Hehihihihu. Irokani Hoketo. Okay, yeah, but it's harder to write it down than to say it.
Ooh,
So-
Oh, yeah.
and
Bakumatsu Kikan Setsu Ion Jesus.
Irohani Hoketo.
Yeah, whatever you just said. Exactly.
started casting spells.
Airo Anjocheto. What?
My furniture started floating.
Yeah, Hani Hoketo, you just add the Iro.
Yeah, Airo, Uncle Airo.
Uncle
Exactly.
Aro Hani Hoketo.
That's his
Uncle
last name.
Airo, Uncle Airo the Coquette.
Yeah.
The coquette.
I would go with Dragon Ball Z meme Kiko Ho from Genshin. Hirola Kiko Ho, fuck it.
Oh,
Alrighty, so first of all, I will say that I have a soft spot for this one. In my opinion, underappreciated anime because of the character design, which was done by the same person who did character design for Speedgrapher, Kozaki Yusuke. And if you crave for Japanese history, specifically as the name says, Bakumatsu, the final years of the Edo period, and the end of the Tokugawa shogunate, and if you love guns versus katana fights with a bit of
hell yeah.
supernatural,
Hell yeah.
A bit of supernatural.
Ooh,
super.
delicious.
I didn't have any supper, maybe that's why, and Ticket just had a food anime.
Yes.
So yeah, you should give this one a shot if you're like historical war junkie for the anime. But I must be objective also, and that many did drop it in the middle, so there might be a chance that it's not your cup of tea. Because it's sort of sometimes it looks more like a documentary than an anime. I mean, it's really filled and packed with history and so on. But the Bakumatsu period is not the topic. The part that sparked my interest in the anime was the theater kabuki group, with which our protagonist gets involved, the wandering samurai, Akizuki, and the way each of the group presents themselves in the first episode instantly made me want to know more about the sound, the poses, and so on. So kabuki. Kabuki, signifying song, dance, and skill. It's a traditional Japanese popular drama, let's say, with singing and dancing performed in a very stylized manner. And it was a theater for the townspeople and the plebs. Now, as for the origin, well, ironically, and you'll know later why I say ironically, it suggested that the kabuki roots came from a female dancer named Okuni. She was an attendant in the shrine of Izumo, and she performed parodies of Buddhist prayers. And as popularity grew, actresses became more and more involved in prostitution. And that was something the government did not appreciate, which inevitably resulted in a ban for female performers. Hence the irony. And also Tokugawa Ieyasu didn't like that performers mingled with higher social classes.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, because of the female ban, actors resorted to dressing up young boys as women. But that was later banned too, because morals. And in the end, they had to resort to old men having to dress up as women. But
What is this picture?
yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
will talk about this later.
They were very imaginative, let's say that.
Listen, we
And
don't talk
innovative.
about
We'll come to it.
Yeah. But I mean, kind of just to make a little digression. I mean, even actors in Europe, like until I think the 19th and 20th century, they were looked down as like literally heathens. They wouldn't be buried in graveyards and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, but
a lot of people had misconceptions about that too.
it was theater. Well, this was like straight out the parody and often mockery, especially in the one of the three story types that focuses on the history plays. You
Oh.
know, of the pre-Sengoku period and post-Sengoku period, the
Yeah.
historical part.
I mean, this guy, like, it seems like he's ziplining while biting down
Exactly.
on a drum and having a balloon stuck up his ass. I don't know what this is about.
The snake.
And it's
Oh,
yeah, and it's making him clench his feet.
yeah.
Well, it was all about poses, how you show yourself. So to emphasize an emotion or their point during the play, they would strike a pose, and they would keep it for like couple of seconds. They would just stand there like a freeze screen, to even like this dude, to make it even more dramatic, with the very very serious expression on their face. I mean, the makeup helps too.
And then
uh,
you hear hear the yo.
yeah.
Or
Yo.
we can see this in anime a lot
Yeah, yeah.
with the
Exactly.
and I don't mean the specific kabuki poses and stuff like that, but the emphasization of reactions. The
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you could say that frame dropping is rooted in Japanese culture.
You mean people in Japan actually don't talk like that?
legasfu,
Impossible.
Oh
impossible.
no.
Oh no.
So yeah, since we mentioned Western theaters, unlike them with separated actors and audience, kabuki performance often addressed the crowd and vice versa. They were
There
giving,
was no fourth wall.
they were giving shout outs.
There was no wall.
So yeah, they
Stop!
even had
Kabuki time!
they even had walkways that went through the audience and to the stage, and they would often use them for dramatic entrances or exits from the stage,
Exit.
or some
Stage left.
yeah, sometimes even the huge chunk of the show would be on the walkway actually. And since kabuki is all about drama, a lot of tricks were used to appear or disappear from the stage, like trapdoors or revolving stages. And as we saw in the picture earlier, the drawing, they use the wires to fly across the stage or even the audience. So yeah, that's the dude on the zip line that we saw.
Also, let's not forget smoke bomb, smoke bomb,
Oh,
smoke bomb.
Yes, ninja. And of course, as you've seen, performers wear very flashy clothes.
Oops.
No?
Sorry, I was making a joke in it with him. Please continue.
Yeah, flashy clothes and kumadori makeup, which is very important. It's with symmetrical patterns on both sides of the face. Certain patterns over time became like trademarks for specific characters. So that basically means that makeup was not there just for a show. It has meaning and it depicts character's nature, with the exception of the black color, of course, which is used to exaggerate eyebrows or other features. So besides black, there are red, blue, and brown, and of course the white is for the background. Yeah. Red represents a character with virtue and courage. It's a hero, so the goodie. Well,
The Red
blue,
Power Ranger.
Yeah, exactly.
and the blue, of course, represents the baddies. Also,
Or the
negative
blue Power Ranger.
emotions. You can see mixes sometimes because it also shows emotions, negative ones. For example, the top part of the face would be painted red, but for example, mouth would be blue. Also, blue was used to depict ghosts. For example, kitsune was drawn with the kitsune fox was drawn painted with the blue color. And the last brown color, that's for monsters and demons, so non-human like characters. As a
Interesting.
yeah, and I did mention one of the three story types, the one that focuses on history. But the second one focuses more on domestic plays, like romance and dramas. You have a lot of similarities to like Romeo and Juliet, kind of tragic suicide stories. And the last third type is dance play, and sometimes it's even without dialogue. So it's all about poses, dancing, and the music. Also, I need to mention that plays usually last for a whole day.
Ay, ay, ay.
For a whole day.
A whole day on multiple stages. It's like a festival.
Man, the guy on the wire was just hanging for a long
Well,
time.
look. You couldn't go out every day to watch a show, so you set out a day
So
when
you
you're gonna watch a show,
Yeah.
and that's it.
You
and
watch
and
both.
by God, you're gonna watch a show.
Once in a
binge it.
lifetime opportunity.
Well,
The
that's not
OG
wrong.
binge watchers.
True binge watchers, because they were sitting on binges.
Oh no.
Yeah,
What
of course
has history done?
they had lunch breaks. Of course, the theater would provide food,
Oh.
so yeah, they would not starve.
Also, the theater would gather more money by selling food to the
Of
audience,
course,
because business.
of course.
The
So yeah,
Japanese are businessmen.
all in all, it's definitely a different experience from what we have in Western theaters, and yeah, I would really, really, really love to have an opportunity to see a kabuki show at least once in my life. But maybe not for the whole day, but like some shorter version, maybe 4 hours tops.
6.
Keiki goes into Japan. What kind of kabuki show you want to see? I'm a binger. Oh. Please sit here.
Well, jokes aside, I would like to catch some of the first story type, the historical one,
Hmm.
of course.
Preferably set during the Bakumatsu.
Yeah, that would be actually nice. I was thinking something a bit earlier, but yeah.
Well, Sengoku isn't much.
Well, Sengoku. Oh yeah, I already know how this one goes.
Yeah, but no. If you want to watch Sengoku, go watch Japanese wrestling, pro wrestling.
No. No.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
So yeah, definitely check out Kabuki. Check it out on
What?
YouTube. Check out the anime, the Hihiho Hokeho.
The Kabuki, the anime.
Bakumatsu.
God
Exactly.
damn it.
Bakumatsu Kiko.
Damn, on the first try.
There, I did it.
Yeah. Oh, this picture is gonna need some serious resizing.
Alright,
You are great, but you're not that great for the stream.
Are
So,
you
let's see what the ticket has to
talking
offer
to
us.
the
my last one is great teacher on Izuka.
Hey.
Oh boy. As a kid, I wanted to be a history professor, and I figured out 10 years later that was not gonna happen. And
that
now I'm
it
at the
doesn't
academy.
pay well.
Yeah. And now I'm at the Academy of Arts, and I'm studying game development. And Onizuka showed me that the teachers can be cool, and that teaching can be cool. So, after watching this anime, I started studying psychology, pedagogy. I want to become an assistant at the academy, and I want to make my goal to teach young children game design. Why? Before a child goes into the teenager years, it usually has some straight to the point decisions and way of thinking. And if you present the game design to a child and it doesn't like it, that probably means that that's either complicated or it sucks. And it's probably the second, because
Yeah,
although
the
everything,
child
children
sucks.
children are very perceptive creatures.
Maybe the child is the one who
Teaching you.
sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And in all honesty, I started studying that a bit, and the next semester I'm going to take some classes that are further going to help me in this. But yeah, I want to become a teacher and to teach young children game development. Not necessarily video game development, but also board games, stuff that they can make on the spot. You have a lot of games that you can play on the spot, like let's say tic-tac-toe, stuff like that. You can write something in the sand and you can play with rocks. But in all honesty, when a child can learn a lot about playing. As you said a little bit earlier, a child can develop some what are those functions called? I'm sorry, eye to hand coordination and stuff like that. A child can develop that. It can help him develop it, but it can also help develop his imagination, which is now kind of, I'd say, a lot of children have problems because of the way that schools and society works in some
Yeah, but
points.
I would like to disagree with you with this entire thing. All children need to learn how to play as other children.
Yeah.
The games come themselves. You just have to take away technology. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, okay, fair argument, but we come from a society that we did that. Like, I cannot see a child in modern society that has like 6 years being left alone thinking about something to play with. And just to make a little bit of a statement, uh, I think that proper games need rules that you follow by.
Yes,
You
and
need a goal
children
and stuff
develop
like that, and there
and
are different types of games. Like there are games that are based on luck, there are games that are based on
and
skills.
children develop social skills by playing games. And the
Exactly.
rules, look, the rules do not need to be enforced. The rules are naturally enforced when children play. Because if you're an asshole who says, hey, my thing all wins because it always wins, the other kids aren't gonna play with you.
Yeah, and it can also
So
learn you something about tolerance.
that is a natural thing that happens with humans. This is a very well known psychological and developmental psychology matter. And denying children, making children learn about games makes them like them less.
I
I'm
strongly disagree
speaking.
with that.
You are disagreeing on your opinion. I'm telling you from a perspective of somebody who used to work with children, and as somebody who's very well versed in the specific topic.
Continue.
For example, we like to play RPGs because they remind us of well, maybe not specifically because of that reason, but everybody remembers playing as a kid, acting a role. So I'm Batman, I'm Goku, whatever. You get it?
Indians versus cowboys and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
hilarious.
that's something that Germans versus the partisan was
Well,
right
our,
here.
our version.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of already ingrained in behavioral patterns of children. But yes, there is a big problem with diminishing of play. So with rise of technology, children start playing less. But then again, we have TikTok, which embodies this concept of play.
Yeah, but it's
I'm sorry. Just to intersect a little bit. At what age are you talking about? Because there is very differently how a child watches a game when it is 5 years old and how a child watches a game when it is 10 years old.
Well, this specifically from 3 to until 12. Since since the moment the child starts developing higher cognitive functions, until they stop being a child and start being an adolescent.
yeah, but for example, you mentioned TikTok. Do you think that since that's like a new way of playing games with your friends, do you think that they would act in the same manner if they would like meet on the street? Or do you think that we went so far into giving the technology to kids at a very young age that you would actually need to help them in some way to be able to socialize in real life and not just behind the screens?
I think
Yeah,
that I think they will. Most of them would probably need some sort of help.
I would disagree. Look, if you yes, the social norms are different. So if you but if you cut off children from, let's say, the present example, the internet, then the children will find their own way to play.
Unless they are very
That,
spoiled, which a lot of parents do. They
yeah,
spoil
well,
their children with
wait,
technology.
okay. So that's a different issue. That is bad parenting.
I think
And you,
what's Uncle Hawk's point that no matter the financial situation, if you put a child in a situation where it has to find it, it's
entertainment.
yeah, that it will do so in some way.
Yeah. And the thing you mentioned, well, that's about parents spoiling children. Yes, that is a very big issue, but it is not connected it's not directly connected to uh, technology. That's an issue that's always present in human society. The only
Yeah.
thing that the technology gives us is more access to it. We see it more.
I don't know. I think social anxiety skyrocketed
Yep.
since the introduction of technology in youth.
Like a lot of people take this entire situation with the virus
Look,
on following on this. Just allow me to finish.
yeah, sure,
Like
sure.
there are a lot of people who suggest that the school should be online at all times. I personally don't agree with that because you're not going to learn how to socialize with people properly. That's why I say just teach children games, let them learn games in a controlled environment where they can learn to socialize. You cannot expect you cannot expect
sure,
two
sure.
people who have been on devices since the day they were born to just meet and socialize
I will,
if they didn't go to, let's say,
okay.
school 8 years and socialize there with their teachers and classmates,
I
right?
will absolutely disagree with you on this issue because you're creating a false dichotomy because you're not you're trying to connect two things that are not connected.
How so?
Children can you can school children over the internet. You can learn everything over the internet, and
Yes.
that is not connected to socializing. Mathematics, languages, other skills, you can learn them online. The things you have to learn separately are social skills, which you learn with people.
Exactly.
So they and schools are a modern invention. Schools have existed only since the 19th century. The schools as we know them,
As
and
institutions, yeah, okay.
this social anxiety that has skyrocketed. Maggie mentioned, Keiki mentioned, has become very. It exponentially grows ever since the schools have been introduced in the Habsburg Empire.
And
It's an observable fact that has been researched and has been approved from multiple sources.
I would just like to say about anxiety that it's skyrocketing because there is way more information. Like you,
Yes, oversaturation of
That too.
information is the big issue. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you instantly know what's happening all over the world, like instantly. Where like 20 years ago you could not do
Yeah,
that.
the world became a lot bigger.
A lot fucked up since then.
Yeah,
Oh
and
no, I don't think it became fucked up. I just think that we're more aware of it now.
yeah. It just
And
it's become interconnected.
yes,
You know.
but
Yeah.
as bad as it is, the thing that we now have insight into all of that. It can help cope with that issue. It can help us develop methods to help people who suffer from those issues.
I don't think that psychology has kept up with the
Mm.
technology, and that in the I
Especially here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, especially here, and I'd say that we'll see like within the next like 10 to 20 years it start to catch up a
Yeah,
little
I mean,
We'll see about it.
official science in general is very lagging behind. It's proper science is just like Japan. It's great, it works perfectly, but it's 20 to 50 years behind in some aspects.
yeah, like not all science is developed at the same
Rate.
rate,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Mm. Yeah, but
and
that
that's
leads us.
natural.
Sorry.
What?
Sorry for interrupting. Yeah, but that leads us back to what Ticket started. So vision of a teacher who would be up to time and able to help children to overcome the anxieties and everything through a playful way.
Yeah, because I mean, you can use role-playing games to help people with their anxiety. Why couldn't you like take some games that are for children that are, let's say, from 3 to 6 years and stuff like that?
Because forcing rules on children makes them disregard, stop paying attention. It's simple.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's
Uh,
generalizing.
Yeah.
Look, it's not generalizing. It's statement of fact, because you need just one to disregard you, and the entire structure collapses.
Okay, but you
Now,
have
if
games
you
that have loose rules.
if
Let's
you're
take
teaching individual or smaller groups, then it could be more functional.
Yeah,
There needs to be done more
agree
research on that topic, but
with that.
there are some results that show this is true. But anywho's, yes, being more genuine with children, not enforcing rules on them, but speaking to them as if they're human beings, adults,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
but
about the approach.
but
giving
children
them
are
respect.
but children are stupid though.
This is true.
That is also very true. Yes. Like.
And so we have Ekichi, Onizuka, 22-year-old virgin, jobless dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
besides
there's like a whole sub Reddit dedicated to the fact that children are stupid. So you know.
Hey,
if it's on Reddit, it's true, right?
look, an average child is no more stupid than an average adult, which is not saying much.
Like, see, I can say that children are children are stupid because they are children, but but that's why you are there, you know, to make sure that they don't remain stupid.
To make an approach to do something. Like
Yeah.
it's if you're a parent, your responsibility is first and foremost, I think, to your kid.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say is that because they are stupid, you can't do like a normal approach. Like most often, children can't really be reasoned with. You gotta play like some sort of a game, yes, but and like a game that will get them emotionally
invested.
Yep.
Yes, in a manner that will reach like some sort of an equilibrium where they will all be more or less interested in what you have to
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's all
say.
about the approach. You have to do it very delicately.
Also, I would not recommend becoming a teacher. It is a
Yeah.
very unthankful job.
And it's not paid well.
That depends where you're working, but it's never paid enough.
I mean, the reason why I brought up this topic because I'm studying studying game design and all of them, and there are in the last 5 to 10 years, there have been a lot of games that have very loose rules, and they work marvelously with children. But it's also how you present it. What Keiki said, you need to make that bridge, which is hard to make, and not everyone can do it. But I think that now we have more games that support that kind of approach, just because they have been made in order to, loosen up the tightness between the teacher and a kid and stuff like that. And
to
yeah,
build a
loose rules,
rapport.
and loose rules can also make children's okay. That happened, that sucks, but we have the next game, and stuff like that.
Also, it's important to teach people how to lose.
Yes,
Not to show people that they will lose, but to teach them how to lose, how to deal with this.
yeah,
Yes, this is
and teach others not to be
you
assholes
must
in their wins.
crush children while they're
See
young.
them driven before you.
Yeah.
And hear the lamentation of their mothers.
Destroy the child.
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Spare the rod, destroy the child.
Okay.
Okay, we
It's not
went
a joke.
That escalated quickly.
we went off the deep end a bit.
Yeah.
So don't forget to follow us here on Twitch, on our YouTube and our social media. And I think we should continue with our next topic if we don't have any of yours.
I
I
think
have a
we are done.
Yep, now you slackers.
yay, a slacker. So once again, we're the Anime Adventuring Party. Don't forget to follow us here and YouTube and stuff, blah blah, all good stuff like that. I would like to talk about the movie Ghost in the Shell from 1995, and some of the things it made me research. Let's start with the simple ones: robotics and biomechanics. Biomechanical robotics is specifically a field of robotics that tries to emulate organic tissues and organic behaviorals. So we have the Boston Dynamics, who are furthest in this field.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
Publicly, they're publicly furthest in this field. Yes. Because the other things we do not know, so we cannot talk about this. That's one of the simpler things this movie has made me research. Then one of the things it also made me want to get into is photography, because of the shots in that city. The interesting thing about that first movie, we don't know where it's happening. We can assume it's Japan, or we can assume it's Hong Kong or somewhere else. But the shots between the buildings and the overlooking the rivers instead of the streets. I mean, this one of those movies which pause it and you can make a wallpaper out of it.
True.
And so basically not just still photography, but camera work in general. So I mean there are some scenes in this which are I wish I was there. That make me say that to myself. Another, again, simple but also very complex thing that it made me get my head into is programming, because in order to make machines that will work autonomously, you need to know programming. So I got into that. Didn't get very far, but I got into it. And then we have the more complex things like the nature of our existence as human beings, and what does it mean to be human, and the anxiety of not having, not of losing your memories, but realizing that your memories are not your own, but of a falsification which is put up onto you through the society around you. And and also this masterpiece is one of the most influential movies of the late 20th century, because without it we wouldn't have the Matrix, and without Matrix we wouldn't have the scenes from Shrek, and without Shrek we wouldn't have the memes.
It's all
Uh,
connected.
It
All connected.
it actually is all connected.
Tinfoil hats.
No tinfoil
Oh.
hats. It's all.
It is.
I'm kidding.
You
I'm
you
kidding.
have a straight line which connects it all.
Or so you say.
But maybe you sit on a throne of lies.
Or do I?
Na.
Triple Uno reversals. I mean, you know, the it's hard to talk about this about all the things that I get in my head when I watch this movie. So I'm gonna need your help, people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so what I wanted to say is that the timeline for this being a reality in 2029.
29 has passed. Yes.
No, like it's a bit off. I'd say it's off by like maybe 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, they basically have a neural network already well established in this movie, and we have just started development of that in reality.
Started with
Yeah.
pigs.
Yes,
Human
yeah.
senpai.
Yeah, but there are other things. I mean, cybernetic enhancements are already a thing. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like I think it was 12 years ago. No, less. It was in 2012 that they made a camera which connects to the human brain, and it translates colors to colorblind
Oh
people.
yeah. I know about that.
Yeah.
The guy is designated as the first cyborg in the world, right? Something like that.
What?
Yes, I would. I would very much. I would
We
very much like
we
cyber
all
future.
would.
Look, no. It's not whether I would like it or not. It's an inevitability.
It's happening, man.
Yeah, but
There's also huge progress with the amputee prosthetics,
Yes.
Yes.
especially the hand ones, where you can move each finger individually.
Yes, you get fine motor skills through basically systems which resemble organic hands, and you use the systems to translate this from our electric impulses.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now to solve is as precise as possible brain computer interface, which
Yep.
I think is like maybe 5 to 10 years away.
Yep.
10 years, I'd say. And once you have that, by that time, we will have like super precise robotics, like super precise. And by that point, I think it's all about scaling the technology to be cheaper and more easily integrated.
Yeah, but
And
the more of something that you have, the higher is the chance that it will become uh, available to people.
Yes, that's what I'm saying when
yeah,
you say
this is
scaling.
called this is also called proliferation of technology.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Uh,
going to be VIP at the start.
Oh,
of
definitely,
course, of course,
definitely, it always is.
as all things do. But uh, uh, this movie brought out a big question, which is what if somebody tries to mess with you and tries to take away your personality?
I
And
have
that
no personality.
I thought
There's
you were
nothing
going to
to
say
there's
something
nothing
like
to
that.
I know this, you
It is
isekai
safe.
isekai protagonist number 6.
My personality is a guy. That's it, man.
Yeah. So.
6.1, yeah.
Soft version 7.0.
Double O
Uh,
is Sky.
so if we do more hmm. This is difficult to phrase it even in my prime language, not only in English. Uh, so uh, if we are nothing more than a collection of memories, uh, what does that uh, make people who are amnesiac or people who have wrong information?
Hmm.
And this and this is a thing that I went pretty deep on with psychological research, and there is no answer. Why is there no answer?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. There is no concrete answer.
There is no
Like,
general answer.
yeah,
There is specific answers for specific situations, but there are no open solutions that anybody can use.
now when you went to the philosophy of it all, also one thing specifically in Ghost in the Shell is where I started questioning how far until you stop being human, especially with
Mo, mo,
uh,
mo,
Modern
Motoko's
medicine.
Well,
Motoko's Motoko has only, I think, 2% of her body
uh,
left.
that
exactly. So,
depends on.
where is your humanity? Is it in your brain? You know, are
I mean,
you
I
just
mean
a
that.
brain, or is it like with religious people in your heart? So, how much do you remove before losing your human self?
I mean, first to find out if you stop being human, you have to define what a human
Exactly.
Yeah.
really is.
Yes, and
You
and
go
this
you go to Detroit to figure that one out.
yes, and
Yeah.
this movie addresses that directly. That question, as we have in our chat. I am. Modern science and modern philosophy cannot define what a human is.
It's a featherless biped.
that is old science.
Yeah, that's a philosophy joke
That's
for
some
all.
no, that's some OG science.
Yeah.
Oh God, what has
And then
science done?
along came a chicken. No. I mean a chicken plucked, like, so.
A plucked chicken. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Dionysus.
They are chickens.
Diogenes. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So yeah, there it's all.
Not even chickens. Yeah. So as you can see, this movie specifically made me go in a lot of rabbit holes, and I don't
It
know
does that.
which one is my favorite.
Hmm.
Why gotta go down rabbit holes, man?
Because I'm late. Oh, I'm late. My clock is ticking, and I'm late.
Ha.
Authorization.
Oh God,
So the thing,
why did you do this?
the thing
Thank
about
you.
there being no study about when do you stop being human very much connects to the memory part that you talked about.
Yes, yes.
Because if you stop being aware, I mean, you can't know if you lost memories. I mean, they're constantly being replaced by newer ones,
But
but
I
you won't know if something changed. And to you, it would probably be either all good, or you'd have an inkling that something went wrong, that you have like gaps, but you wouldn't know what.
Yeah, I
So
mean, but if we're going by being aware that it is a measure of a
Measure of a man.
human, do you stop being human while you're sleeping? You know,
Yes.
like there's.
That's one of the ways to look at it.
I mean,
By the way, another thing that's eerily paralleled in this movie is the self-learning algorithms.
Which
mhm,
we have today,
yes.
Yes,
and
self
they're amazing.
self-learning algorithm achieves consciousness.
And
So
we're
is
doomed.
it no, hold on a minute. Do we consider it we can consider it human per se, but if like Project 2501, it asks you for asylum to be protected from persecution. Do we offer it? Do we give it asylum or do we not?
Depends on what
does
kind
it
of
does
science
it
fiction you have been reading.
really.
well, does it get human rights
Yeah.
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Yeah,
Does it have to be categorized by some other rights?
I'm going to sidestep from anime for a second and to say that that topic was very heavily covered in the video game Detroit Become Human,
Mm-hmm.
where you
Oh
have
yeah, all the memes.
yeah, where you have sentient androids that demand same rights to be able to coexist with humans. And there was also because some become deviants, and there's one part where you talk with the creator of the androids, where he makes you to make a decision if you're going to let specific one live or die. And he was like, do you truly believe that it's consciousness and that it's not actually programmed to do it, and to say that. So
But
yeah, really a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
yes, but that back to the movie again.
Yeah, sorry.
uh,
Sorry,
that que-
just before you continue, like Isaac Asimov really dwelled on that. The author.
yeah,
Yeah,
most science fiction that is one of the biggest questions
Isaac.
in all of science fiction, and that specific question, if it's only programmed for self-preservation. But okay, but you could say that DNA is a code that is programmed for self-preservation and reproduction.
It's building blocks, literally.
Hmm.
So it gets
Yeah, like
kind of
I think that the question of whether something is programmed to do something is a bit dated because like now we have technology that doesn't showcase that if you feed an algorithm them sufficient information, it can be better than a human in that particular field.
Yeah, but
So
exactly in that. But yeah, can it be innovative?
I mean that's current technology, and yes,
current iterations, yes, and
and yes, it can actually because
it
deep
keeps upgrading.
learning algorithms
evolves.
are used to find like cures for cancer and stuff like that, which humans could do in probably like 20 years. A machine has done in like a few weeks, maybe.
Yeah, but doesn't that machine uses the task and just henceforth repeats them until she finds something that could work as a
Yes, but
And it doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat. So
yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. Its efficiency is different than humans.
yeah.
But if at a certain point a program passes the come on, what's the test?
For
Oh
what?
yeah, the Turing.
Turing test.
Turing test.
Yeah, if a machine passes the Turing test, what then?
Well, fuck.
Buckle up.
No, I mean that is
Electric
just
Boogaloo.
Yeah.
so what I wanted to say is that algorithms like that are useful because they see patterns that you and I do not see.
Mm-hmm.
It like if you feed it uh, correct information, it will become to a conclusion way faster than you.
Yeah, and one of the
And
current
and it would just be and it would just keep getting faster as long as you
feed it more.
yeah
Yeah.
But since we already mentioned one of the greatest living minds, Elon, like
have some
love him or hate him, his position on this entire topic is very very logically established. He says that we don't need to pick side A or side B. We need to
B.
we need to do symbiosis.
Symbiosis.
Yeah, symbiosis. Which we basically already are doing. Because, for example, we couldn't be talking to you, good people, if we didn't have these computers which make us get this info collected and help us bring it to you.
Yeah, and you're literally spending so
And
much time on
also-
your telephone that you're a proto cyborg.
And also, we welcome our cybernetic overlords.
Remember
Yes,
that we were
we do.
kind.
Yes, please do.
Now I remember that Star Trek scene with the Borg. We only want to improve quality of life.
And it's important to make a distinction between a weak Ki and strong or general
All right.
AI,
Let's hear
where weak Ki is what we are basically building, like the things that we do have at this point, which are some algorithms that are good at
That
chess
are used.
or some
Algorithms that are good at solving problems, but that do not have executive power, shall we say?
no, just algorithms that are good at one specific thing, like way better than one human could be. And that we do have, and we do have some that are better than like the group of humans, or maybe in like 5 or 10 years we will have some that will be like better than all of the people in the
Field. Specific
yeah
field,
yeah so, and that is like a far cry from like something that could do the same thing, but then do everything that a human can do, you know?
Yeah, they're kind of specialized.
Yes, they're extremely specialized,
in one topic.
yes, and they do it extremely
And here is
well.
another quote from this movie, one of my favorite quotes: "Over specialize and breed in weakness."
Well, yeah, and that's what we have now,
Today.
and what we will have, I think, for the next 10 years or so. I don't think that we'll have like a strong generalized artificial intelligence in like maybe like 30 years or so.
I don't know. I just want, like, while I'm still alive, for us to be able to put me in the jar at least, so
be a-
I can wait for the time where I can be put in a mecha that is not made of meat.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
You're
in like
piloting
30
your
or
piloting
40
your flesh skeleton.
years, like in 30 or 40 years, we could have such tech, you know.
but
have
that
brain in a
returns,
jarro.
but that returns us to the previous talking point. Will we be able to afford it? But
Well,
I think it's worth it to just like sell everything
sell
you
everything,
have.
It's going to be a long term
For immortality?
goal.
Yeah.
But immortality is also a double-edged sword. I would like to be able to have a kill switch, you know?
Engage.
Just switch engage,
Because-
please, for all eternity.
oh no.
Oh God, no! Please end my suffering now.
Depends which album.
One
Uh,
finger curls on the monkey paw.
It's like playing that game with the flower. It likes me, it doesn't like me. It likes me, it doesn't like me. Die, live, die, live, die, live.
Yeah, but all in all, would be good to have an escape route, let's say, from immortality. Because if you're really stuck forever,
Then
imagine
it would
in
suck.
many years, and also how far the immortality goes. Do you have to be like safe in your shell, or if destroying the shell would destroy you too, or if you're able to go and upload yourself,
Do limit testing.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think how far it would evolve. Like, for example, Earth gets destroyed, but you're still somewhere on some satellite stuck.
Like cars from JoJo.
Oh wait.
Just
No, no.
floating into space.
That's basically the story of Observer, the game.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, also in Ghost in the Shell, you have Tachikoma.
Wait, what's Blob Blob Quest of the Blob? What?
That's an old game.
Oh.
Yeah, but here you don't in this story we do not have Tachikoma, but yes, Tachikoma are the Project 2501 takes the place of Tachikoma in this story without the comedy and lightheartedness. Though
Yeah,
it's more about the creature entity achieving sentience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there are some cautionary tales that go to the extreme, such as I have no
Mouth and I
mouth and
cannot
I'm
scream.
Yeah.
a scream. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is some like nightmare
Fuel.
fuel.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
I'd
it
still
starts.
take the risk.
No, I mean, I like okay, achieving like immortality is one thing, but there is the thing of how you get to it. Is it like biological, or is it like mind uploading? And if it is mind uploading, is it really you, or is it just a
Exactly.
copy of you?
Copy.
Mhm.
Right.
Is
And then
it safe? Is it
yeah,
safe?
and then you could bypass that by replacing your entire brain neuron by
So we.
Firewall blocked some features and you cannot speak.
Oh God.
No, no, that basically leads us to the altered carbon, where
Yeah.
you're just a chip that's put into different bodies.
Or
And
in
you don't know if it's you.
current society, you've been zooked.
Zucked.
Yep.
Mark, give me the Zuck.
Yes. This is very good. Uh, so whew. Sorry. I expended a lot of energy talking about children developmental psychology. So I'm not that not all the engines are running right now.
Just go into another flesh
That's
body,
okay.
like who cares? 5 minutes. We'll go to the be right next.
Reboot.
Reboot.
Yeah.
Remakes, not reboots.
Remake? Nah.
Oh, remake, remodel.
So, was there like something else you wanted to talk about, maybe, or is Ghost in
No,
the Shell?
I just wanted to go Ghost in the Shell because that's as I already said. Besides being one of the most influential anime movies, one of the most influential movies of the late 20th century, it was one of my most formative uh, cartoons actually, because I watched it like a cartoon.
Chinese the cartoons.
Look, back then I was a child, and I can go back now to the developmental psychology part of it, because as growing up, I had a lot of problems because I looked at things more logically than most of my peers. So I came to disagreements often because logic dictates this.
Fair
rules
enough.
rules of reality say this is so, but but children do not care about the rules of reality.
Reality is non-existent
There is
It's
only Zulu.
irrelevant.
to a
This
child.
is-
Yes, I agree.
Oh my god, so many shameless plugs in
Oh
our
yeah, Stream Elements is
going nuts.
yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, if that's it, we could close this up for
All right, so
tonight.
to our viewers here and on other platforms, don't forget to follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on all our social media, and tonight we have been the Anime Adventuring Party, and we have had
Oh yeah, Finn.
We had Keiki.
T-Cat.
and I was Uncle Hawk,
I
making you brain damage.
I missed the cue. I'm sorry.
this
You
this
should
is a
know
train
by
wreck.
now- You
This
should know by
Fine.
now
This
that
is
we
fine.
Bye.
have a normal
Bye. Stick around for the raid. We will raid someone.